Welcome back, my loves, and if you're new, welcome. I'm Andrea, and welcome to Life as I Know It. Today, we're going to make a bumblebee wreath using items from Hobby Lobby and also the Dollar Tree. So, as I use each item, I will tell you where I got them from. So, with that being said, grab your piece of paper and pen so you can write down where I got the items from. Grab a drink as you watch me make this bumblebee wreath. I'm going to take this 14-inch reframe and I'm going to take my Chanel stems. Now, there are 6 sections of this frame, and I'm going to put 2 Chanel stems in each section. So I'm going to put one in the inner and one on the outer. Now, I usually do 3, and I just put one in each row of it. But this time I said, you know what, let's try something different and see if it makes a difference with us putting that extra row in the middle. But if you want to, you can put 3 instead of 2. So since it's 6 sections, we're going to have 12 Chanel stems, which means when we cut up our ribbon, we know we need at least 12 separate pieces of ribbon to put in the Chanel stems. Now, we could always go and add another Chanel stem. You can either do that when you do 3, but you can always add another Chanel stem as you go along. So if you want to try it the 2-way and then you realize later you want to add another one, you can just slip a Chanel stem in there. So as you can see, I did the inside first. I put my 6 Chanel stems in the inside, and then I went on ahead and reversed it and put these 6 Chanel stems on the outer frame of the wreath. We're going to take the black ribbon mesh that we got from Hobby Lobby. It was $7.99 with 40% off, and it was 10 by 10. So what we're going to do is take the beginning of the mesh ribbon. We're going to take it through the frame. We're going to flip the frame over. Now you can use one of the Chanel stems that's already in there and go ahead and tie it down and leave the end. Don't worry about it. Make sure you take enough of it to go through so when we cut it, it won't fray and come off. Now, if you don't want to use one of the Chanel stems that's already in there, then just grab a Chanel stem and just go ahead and tie it through. Once we have it secured inside of the frame, then what we're going to do is go ahead and start making our loops. You can make your loops 6 to 8 inches. If you need to measure them, you can. And all we're going to do is grab the mesh ribbon, tie it inside of a Chanel stem, and then we're going to grab some more and make another loop. Now, if you have one of those screen doors that only have so much room in between, then maybe you should try 4 to 6 inches. So that way it really won't be that puffy, and that way you can close the doors and your wreath won't get wet when it rains. So we're going to go ahead and start in the inner circle with our mesh, and we're going to do all 6 Chanel stems. And once we have that completed, then all we're going to do is pull our ribbon and go to the next Chanel stem on the outer loop. And like I said, if you want to make a loop with inside, then just add the extra Chanel stems in the middle. And you can just go ahead and go to the next loop if you wanted to do it that way. See right here, I just go ahead and cross over to the next Chanel stem. But like I said, if you want to add an extra row, then you would just go to the next nearest stem that did not have mesh ribbon within the middle. Once I've completed the whole wreath and every Chanel stem has mesh ribbon in it, I'm just going to go around one more time just to make it look a little fuller before I add the yellow. You don't have to do this, but I just want it to be a little bit more fuller and a little bit more fluffy. And as you can see, it still looks see-through, even though we're going to put yellow on top of it. I just want it to be fuller. You don't have to do this. And we have a lot of a row since it's a smaller frame. So I'm just going to go ahead and go all the way around one more time. And as you can see, it is a little bit more fuller. And the same way you start the wreath with putting the mesh ribbon in is the same way you end it. You go ahead and take the end part through the frame of the wreath. You add another Chanel stem and tie it down, and then it's secured to the frame. Then you're done with that. So all we're going to do is flip it over and go ahead and start to add our yellow on top of our black ribbon mesh. The same way we did the black into the frame, we're going to do the same with the yellow. We're going to take the yellow through the frame, flip the frame over, and then we're going to attach the end of that ribbon to the frame with one of the Chanel stems, and then we're going to flip it back over and we're going to start making our loops. We're going to open one of the Chanel stems. We're going to go ahead and put our poof inside, and then we're going to secure our Chanel stem around that poof, and then we're just going to go ahead, make your loops 6 to 8 inches. You can make it larger or smaller. I know I always say that. This is your wreath, so you make it towards your taste. And then also, if you have a door in between, you don't want it so big that your door doesn't close. So we're just going to go ahead and continue to make our loops with this yellow ribbon. And now that we did the first row, we're going to go ahead and go around and do the second row. So we're going to go ahead and go in the middle with our yellow ribbon. You can always add another Chanel stem to your frame if you think that your loops are too loose or you want to add more to make it smaller. Just go ahead and take that Chanel stem, put it underneath, twist it a couple times, and then just go ahead and add your ribbon. So when we get down to the end, what we're going to do is put the yellow ribbon through the frame. We're going to flip it over and we're going to tie it down with a Chanel stem. And once we have that secure, we're going to go ahead and put our wreath to the side and start working on our ribbon. We got this mesh ribbon from Hobby Lobby. It was $9.99 with 40% off. So what we're going to do is take it and spread it across our mat, and we're going to cut it at 22 inches. I believe 16 to 22 is a good enough length depending on how big your frame that you're using. Also, a rule of thumb that I'm starting to remember, however many Chanel stems that you put on your frame, That's how many pieces of ribbon that you should cut. So that way you have enough of each piece to go into each Chanel stem. Now, if you're doing two different colors, the same thing, half and half. Now I'm going to take and put a clip at the top of our piece, and then I'm going to take the end bottom part, I'm going to fold it under, and then I'm going to start walking it up with the middle of our fingers up the middle. Now you can use anything to hold your mesh ribbon down. And when you get to the end of it, we're going to fold it under so that way we can try to hold off on the frills coming out. You can use these clips from the dollar store. If you have any clothespins, you can use those also, because what we're going to do is put them all aside, go ahead and make all our ribbon, and then we're going to put it inside the wreath. I'm going to go ahead and complete the process again. We're going to go ahead and put that clip at the top, and then we're going to go ahead in the middle, and we're going to start bunching it up in the middle using our two fingers. And as we pull it close to us, we're just going to go ahead and gather it in the middle. And once we have it all together, when we get to the other end, we're going to fold that little piece under, and we're going to go ahead and put a clamp on the whole ribbon. And go ahead and put a clamp on the whole bow. Now we're going to take our clips off, and we're going to start adding our little bows inside the wreath. So all we're going to do is open a Chanel stem, go ahead and put that bow inside, and then take the Chanel stem and wrap it around it at least 2 times, and then go ahead and move on to your next Chanel stem. Now this roll of mesh ribbon was 10 by 10, and like I said, it was $9.99 with 40% off. But I did notice that they're starting to make it 10 by 6, and some of them are going up $1, and some might be going up 2. So I think at this point they have cleaned out all the old mesh ribbon that they had and put the new prices and new size in the bin. So just make sure when you're watching it and definitely go through it, because sometimes I find different prices. But you can get mesh ribbon from Walmart sometimes. Definitely can get it from Michael's and Joann Fabrics. Hobby Lobby usually has its mesh ribbons, its regular ribbons, its flowers. At least twice a month they have them on sale for 40%. So definitely keep your eyes out. Like I said, sometimes Walmart has it also, but there are also websites that you can get it on that's less expensive if you don't want to go to Hobby Lobby, or if you don't have a Hobby Lobby near you. Now all we're going to do is continue to take our bows and put it inside our wreath. Open the Chanel stem, put the bow in. We're going to tie it at least 2 times around the bow, so that way we make sure that it's secure. Once we have all our bows inside of our wreath, we're going to go ahead and put our wreath to the side, and we're going to go ahead and cut some ribbon. We got this ribbon from the dollar store. It's 9 yards, and what we're going to do is make it 20 inches, and we're going to just go ahead and cut it down. If you don't have a cutter, you can use a pair of scissors and just go ahead and cut your ribbon. You can also fold it over several times and go ahead and cut it through the loops. Now we're going to take the ribbon, fold it in half, and we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut upward. And this is how we duct tape our ribbon. And as you can see, when you fold it in half, and you can cut it one way, and then both ends are cut evenly. And if you don't want to do it that way, then just cut one end upward, turn your ribbon, and then do the exact same thing, cut upward. And this makes your ribbon ducktail at the end. So we're going to do this to all the ribbon that we have. And now we're going to go ahead and place our ribbon on the wreath. So we're going to do polka dot, sheer, stripe. All 3 ribbons did come from the dollar store. So we're going to go ahead and place that in. And then the next one will be stripe, sheer, and then polka dots. We're not going to put the sheer piece on top. We're just going to use that as the middle. Now, you use whatever ribbon that you can find. You might not be able to find this at the dollar store, or if you find something else that you like, you can go ahead and use that also. This is to match your decor and also your taste. And if you like, you can just go ahead and take the black, yellow, and white mesh ribbon that we got from Hobby Lobby and use that to do your whole frame. So once we have our ribbon together, we're going to pinch it in the middle and we're going to place it inside of our Chanel stem, and we're going to wrap it 1 or 2 times around, at least 2 to 3 times, to make sure that it's tight in. And then we're going to go ahead to the next one. Once we completed the whole frame, we can go back and we can tuck the Chanel stems under, or you can just go ahead and cut them off. So we're just going to go to our next Chanel stem, open it up, pinch our ribbon in the middle, place it inside the Chanel stem, twist it once, twist it tight. Make sure it's tight in there before you go on to your next Chanel stem. We're going to continue this process and make sure that each one of our Chanel stems has ribbon inside of it. Once all the Chanel stems have been filled with the ribbon, we're going to flip off our wreath just to make sure. Then we're going to place that to the side, and what we're going to do is go ahead and take some of the excess ribbon that we did cut, and we're going to use that and make a bow. So we're just going to lay it down. We don't have any more sheer, so we're just going to take the stripes and the bow and lay them on top of each other. And once we have them all placed, we're going to go ahead and take a Chanel stem and use that to tie the ribbon together. And once we have the Chanel stem secure around our ribbon, we're going to go ahead and take that and place it in our wreath. We're going to go ahead and take our bow and attach it to the frame. So we're going to take the Chanel stems, open it up, put it through the frame, and then flip the frame over. And then we're going to twist the Chanel stems around the frame so we secure it to the back of the frame. And this is how we're going to keep our bow on the wreath. And you can either fold down the ends, or you can go ahead and cut the ends off once you have the bow secured to your frame. Now, we got this known from the dollar store, and it was in the garden section. It does have a little bell hanging down, and it also has a hook. So we're going to take the hook, hook it onto the frame, and then we're going to take Chanel stems to make sure that we secure that hook onto the frame with the Chanel stem so it won't fall, and then this way it'll hang down. Got this little gnome pick from Michael's. It was $5.99 with 40% off. We're going to go ahead, stick it through the frame, and then take that stick and wrap it around the frame to secure it in place. I got this little bumblebee pick from Michael's. It was $4.99 with 40% off. We're going to go ahead and stick it through the wreath. We're going to take the stick and wrap it around the back of the frame. And then we're also going to take it and place it down on one of the ribbons and use one of those Chanel stems to wrap it around and keep it in place. I also got this bicycle pick from Michael's. It was $5.99, 40% off. And we're just going to do the exact same thing. We're going to go ahead, put it through the wreath, bend the end of the pole around it, and then also we're going to lay it so that way we can take one of the Chanel stems and secure it around that pole to keep it in place. I decided to add these little bushes of flowers around the honeybee cone. So like the bees are getting the honey from the flowers. So I got those from Michael's. They were $3.99 for 40% off. And I'm just going to go ahead and attach them right next to the beehive and just wrap the stems around the frame. And once we have that on there, we are done with our bumblebee wreath. Well, my loves, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you spending time with me as we create this bumblebee wreath for the summer or for any time. You can use it in the spring, the summer, or the fall. It's just a fun wreath. You can use whatever color designs that you want, but I just wanted to give you an idea. So if you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're a return, thank you for coming back and spending time with me. Do not forget to hit the thumbs up because that helps my channel to grow. I want everyone to have a blessed day. Remember, cost nothing to be kind, and we will see you in our next video. Bye for now.